With one hand stirring the pasta sauce, I glance at the clock. 6:15 p.m. Mom needs at least another hour of sleep before her night shift begins. Our small Colorado kitchen feels eerily quiet, broken only by occasional bubbling from the pot. I lower the heat and dry my hands on our worn yellow dish towel. A calendar clings to the refrigerator door, its edges curled from months of handling. My gaze lands on tomorrow's date, highlighted in red ink, Roosevelt High's talent show. A familiar anxiety knots my stomach. Through the doorway, I can see Mom's bedroom door slightly open, revealing her sleeping figure buried under blankets. When she returned this morning from her shift at Memorial Hospital, dark shadows circled her eyes. Her nursing shoes still sit by the entrance, waiting for tonight's return. Just a few more minutes, I whisper to the sauce, stirring gently. Preparing dinner while the house sleeps makes me feel needed. The front door bursts open suddenly. I nearly drop the spoon as Chloe storms in with 3 friends close behind. Mom's resting, I say quickly. My sister dismisses me with an eye roll. Like anyone cares what you think, Maddie. She scoffs while her friends giggle. They gather around our kitchen table, backpacks hitting the floor with loud thuds. Chloe tosses her perfectly styled hair and pulls out her phone. The group huddles together, heads bent in conspiracy. Could you please keep it down? Mom worked all night, I request. Without looking up, Chloe responds with a dismissive whatever. Hushed laughter flows between them as they glance from the phone screen to me and back again. Something icy runs down my spine. What's so amusing? I ask, my voice smaller than intended. Nothing you'd comprehend, Chloe replies, but her friend Amber can't suppress her loud giggle. I move closer, catching a glimpse of the screen. My breath stops. It's a cartoon chicken with my face crudely edited onto it, wearing what appears to be my beloved green sweater, the one with a small hole I keep forgetting to mend. I retreat, my cheeks burning. This isn't unprecedented. Last year, I auditioned for the school play after weeks of practicing lines privately in our shared bedroom when Chloe wasn't around. On audition day, someone had scrawled "Silent Maddie" on my script. I froze on stage, forgetting everything. Hidden beneath my mattress lies my music journal, lyrics and melodies I've composed during solitary moments. Songs I sing in whispers when alone, the only times my voice feels authentically mine. Since Dad departed 2 years ago, taking his weekend pancake traditions and guitar lessons with him, everything shifted. Mom began working double shifts, Chloe transformed into someone I don't recognize, and I became invisible, except when convenient to mock. I return to the stove, pretending ignorance of what I've seen, but my hands shake while draining the pasta. Later, while searching for homework Chloe borrowed, I discover something else in her bag, a folded program on bright blue paper for Roosevelt High's annual talent show. I shouldn't look, but my fingers move involuntarily. Nausea spreads as I scan the performance list. Third from the bottom, Maddie Cluck, solo performance, chicken dance. Beside it, a small cartoon chicken identical to the one on Chloe's phone. My name deliberately misspelled. I never registered for the talent show. The room seems to tilt. My sister orchestrated this setup, planning my public humiliation for the entire school to witness. What are you doing with my belongings? Chloe's voice cuts through my shock. I hold up the program with trembling hands. You did this. She shrugs, dropping onto her bed. Maybe people will finally notice you. Why would you? My voice breaks. I swallow hard, refusing tears in her presence. Why would you do this to me? It's just a prank, Maddie. Don't be so sensitive. She smirks, examining her nails. Besides, you're always hiding in corners, singing to yourself. Now you have a chance to perform. I stand there, words trapped in my throat. The urge to scream, to throw something, to make her understand the pain. It all rises inside me. Instead, I carefully fold the program, place it on her desk, walk to the bathroom, lock the door, and slide down until I'm sitting on the cold tiles. My reflection shows a girl I barely recognize, pale and small. You are my sunshine. I hum quietly, the melody soft and fractured. Mom used to sing this when I was little, when things were better, when we were complete. The humming grows stronger, steadier. My voice may be quiet, but I can hear it. The next morning at school, I press against the cool lockers, heart racing as Chloe's voice drifts from around the corner. She doesn't know I'm here. We'll move her to last, Chloe says, laughter threading her words, right after the final act, when everyone's tired and ready to leave. A pause. I hold my breath. Of course, Mrs. Dorsey approved it. I told her it was a surprise for Mom. Another laugh, sharper this time. Amber will record everything. We'll post it tonight. My stomach churns. I slide down the wall until I'm crouching, knees to chest. Got to go. Operation Chicken Dance is ready. Her footsteps fade down the hallway. I wait until certain she's gone before standing on unsteady legs. The hallway stretches ahead, suddenly too bright. Everyone passing seems to look at me differently. Do they know? How many are part of this joke? During lunch, I find Mrs. Dorsey in the auditorium, clipboard in hand as she surveys the empty stage. Mrs. Dorsey. My voice emerges as a whisper. I clear my throat and try again. About the talent show. She glances up, distracted. What is it, Madison? I'm quite busy. I think there's been an error with my name on the program. She flips through her papers. Yes, the special edition. Your sister mentioned you were too shy to register yourself, but that you'd been practicing. Very thoughtful of her. But I didn't. Pre-performance nerves are normal, dear. She pats my shoulder. You can't withdraw now. The programs are printed. Chloe is wonderful to work with on the Student Activities Committee. You could learn from her confidence. She checks her watch. I must run. Break a leg tomorrow. She walks away before I can explain, heels clicking against the polished floor. After school, I discover 3 yellow feathers taped to my locker. A note in unfamiliar handwriting reads, "Cluck, cluck." Someone has drawn a crude chicken wearing my green sweater. I tear it down with shaking hands. 2 passing girls snicker. Heat floods my face as I stuff the feathers and note into my backpack. That's messed up. I jump at the voice behind me. A boy with dark hair falling across one eye stands there, backpack over one shoulder. Lane Miller. He sits 2 rows behind me in English. We've spoken maybe 3 times all year. It's nothing, I mutter, fumbling with my combination. Doesn't look like nothing. He shifts his weight. I saw what they put on your locker yesterday, too. I freeze. There was something yesterday? He nods, eyes darting from mine. Some kind of poster. I removed it before many people saw it. Why would you do that? Suspicion crawls up my spine. Is this another trap? Lane shrugs. Because it was cruel. I study his face for signs of mockery, but find none. I know about the talent show situation, he says quietly. My throat tightens. Everyone knows, don't they? Not everyone. He hesitates. Look, I'm on tech crew tomorrow night. If you want to, discuss it or something. I slam my locker shut. Thanks, but I don't need assistance. His face falls slightly. Right. Saw the... He steps back. Just thought, since I'm running lights and sound. I stop. You're on tech crew? He nods. Stage manager assigned me spotlight duty. Something shifts inside me, a tiny spark where moments ago there was only dread. After Lane leaves, I find myself walking to the empty music room. The piano sits in silent invitation. I set my backpack down and slide onto the bench. My fingers hover over the keys. Mom's voice echoes in my memory, singing, "You are my sunshine" on those nights after Dad left, when everything felt shattered. Her voice, steady despite everything, had been my anchor. I play the first note softly, then again stronger. If they want to humiliate me, they'll have to do it while I'm standing tall. I place the mocking chicken program on top of the piano, a reminder of what I'm facing. But instead of breaking me, it hardens something in my core. The next day, I find Lane by the light booth after final period. If I wanted to perform, I say without preamble, but not when they expect me to, could you help? His eyes widen, then a slow smile spreads across his face. Absolutely. We develop a simple plan. I'll perform after the scheduled final act, but before Chloe's planned humiliation. Lane will have a single spotlight ready. They'll try to stop you, he warns. Let them try. My voice sounds stronger than I feel. During free period, I slip into the empty auditorium and practice my song in whispers that gradually grow bolder. Each run-through builds something new inside me, not confidence exactly, but determination. The day of the show arrives with crushing anxiety. As I stand at my locker, Chloe's friends surround me with fake smiles. "We brought you something for your big performance," Amber says, holding out a plastic cup. Before I can respond, she trips, spilling dark liquid all over my carefully chosen outfit. Oops. Her mock concern fools no one. Total accident. They leave me standing in soaked clothes, their laughter trailing behind them. When I check the updated program someone left on my desk, my stomach drops. Special surprise act, Madison Clark, now appears at the very end. I'm changing into spare clothes in the bathroom when I glimpse a familiar figure through the auditorium doors. Mom, still in her scrubs, slipping into a back row seat. My heart catches. She came straight from her shift. Suddenly, this isn't just about me anymore. The auditorium of Roosevelt High swallows me as I slip through the double doors. Hundreds of bodies fill the rows, excited chatter bouncing off the walls. Parents clutch program sheets identical to the one I found in Chloe's backpack, the one that listed me as Maddie Cluck. I choose a seat in the back row, close to the exit. No one notices me. They never do. From here, I can see everything. The stage with its heavy burgundy curtains, the spotlight beams cutting through floating dust particles, the tech booth where Lane adjusts controls with careful precision. Principal Warner steps onto the stage, tapping the microphone twice. "Welcome to Roosevelt High's annual talent show." His voice booms through the speakers. Parents straighten in their seats. Students quiet their whispers. The first performer, a sophomore boy, juggles basketballs while reciting Shakespeare. A girl from my math class plays violin. 3 football players perform a surprisingly graceful dance routine. Each act receives enthusiastic applause, each performer bowing with confidence I can't imagine possessing. Through a gap in the curtains, I spot Chloe and her friends backstage. Their matching teal outfits sparkle under the stage lights as they stretch and primp. Chloe adjusts her headband, her face set in fierce concentration. For all her cruelty at home, she's always been talented. Dance lessons since age 4, voice lessons since 7. My fingers twist the frayed edge of my sweater sleeve. Under my chair sits my small backpack containing the white dress Mom bought me last Christmas. I've never worn it. Too simple, Chloe had said. Too plain. The applause crescendos as the 9th act finishes. Then the announcer's voice. And now, the Roosevelt High Dance team, led by Chloe Carter. The audience erupts. Chloe and 5 other girls stride onto the stage, striking dramatic poses. The music begins, something popular with a heavy beat that vibrates through the floor. Their routine is flawless, all synchronized movements and impressive flexibility. Chloe executes a perfect aerial cartwheel, landing in a split that makes the crowd gasp. Mom sits 4 rows from the front, still in her scrubs from work. Her exhaustion is visible even from here, but she claps enthusiastically for Chloe. I shrink further into my seat. When the dance ends, Chloe blows kisses to the crowd. The applause is deafening. Before our next act, we have a special video presentation, announces Mrs. Dorsey, the drama teacher. The lights dim. My stomach drops. The projector screen lowers. A crudely animated chicken appears, wearing what's unmistakably my green sweater. My face, photoshopped onto the bird's body, looks distorted and awkward. The chicken begins to dance, flapping its wings while text appears. Coming soon, Maddie Cluck's solo performance. Laughter ripples through the audience. Someone whistles. I glance at Mom, whose smile has faltered into confusion. My heart hammers against my ribs. The exit door seems miles away. Running would only draw more attention. I sit perfectly still, willing myself to disappear as the chicken on screen continues its ridiculous dance. When the video ends, Mrs. Dorsey returns to announce intermission. The audience breaks into smaller conversations, many still chuckling about the chicken animation. Now is my chance. I grab my backpack and slip toward the side door leading backstage. No one stops me. No one notices. The hallway behind the stage is dimly lit and smells of floor wax and makeup. Costume racks line one wall, props lean against another. Lane catches my eye from the tech booth doorway and gives me a small nod. We've spoken only twice. Once when he witnessed Chloe knocking books from my hands in the hallway, and yesterday when he promised to help me tonight. A person of few words, Lane communicates volumes through that simple nod. I duck into the small dressing room at the end of the hall. Inside, I change quickly, pulling the white dress over my head. The cotton fabric feels cool against my skin. I smooth the simple skirt and face the mirror. The girl staring back looks different somehow, still me, but with something unfamiliar in her eyes.
Determination, maybe.
Or defiance. From my backpack, I retrieve Mom's sunshine pin, a small golden sun she's worn on her nurse's uniform for as long as I can remember. She loaned it to me years ago for a 5th grade presentation. I never returned it, and she never asked. I fasten it carefully to my collar, its weight both foreign and comforting. A knock at the door makes me jump. 2 more acts, Lane says through the door, his voice barely audible. I fold my sweater and jeans, placing them neatly in my backpack. My hands tremble, but my mind feels strangely clear. When I step into the hallway, a junior girl I've never spoken to holds the stage door open without a word. I catch a glimpse of her small smile before I move past. From the wings, I watch the final scheduled act, a senior playing electric guitar. The audience claps rhythmically. In the 3rd row, I spot Mom leaning forward in her seat, eyes scanning the stage. Looking for me, I realize. Wondering about the chicken video. Miss Turner, my English teacher, notices me standing there. Recognition flashes across her face. She once commented on my poetry assignment, saying I had an authentic voice. She raises an eyebrow but says nothing, just steps aside to clear my path to the stage. The guitarist finishes with a dramatic chord. The audience applauds. He bows and exits on the opposite side. For 3 heartbeats, the stage stands empty. Principal Warner begins to approach the microphone, program in hand, ready to conclude the evening. I step out of the shadows. The spotlight finds me immediately. Lane's doing. I walk to center stage, my white dress glowing under the harsh light. The audience murmurs in confusion. I reach for the microphone, but as my fingers touch the metal, it emits a high-pitched screech before going silent. Someone snickers. More laughter follows. I glance toward the tech booth and see Chloe standing beside Lane, her hand on a control panel. Her smug smile tells me everything. She's cut the sound. The laughter grows louder. My moment of humiliation has arrived exactly as Chloe planned. I gently set the useless microphone in its stand and take a deep breath. I tap it once, twice. Dead silence. Of course this is Chloe's doing. The first wave of laughter ripples through the front rows. Someone whispers loud enough for me to hear. Where's her chicken costume? I carefully set the useless microphone down. The metal stand makes a hollow sound against the wooden stage floor. More laughter follows, scattered like falling rain. My heart hammers against my ribs. Mom sits 5 rows back, confusion etched across her tired face. She came straight from work, still wearing her hospital scrubs beneath her old winter coat. I take a deep breath and find the center mark on the floor. The spotlight warms my face as I close my eyes for one moment of absolute stillness. The first notes rise from somewhere deep inside me. You are my sunshine. My voice fills the auditorium without amplification, pure and clear. The sound surprises even me. I've never sung this loudly before. I had never permitted myself to be vulnerable like this before. The giggles cease with a cough. Sounds bounce from the rear seats. Then silence. My ray of hope. From my peripheral vision, I notice urgent motion. Chloe positions herself at the platform's edge, desperately gesturing toward the sound booth. Terror twists her features. You bring me joy when clouds gather. Lane remains steadfast at the illumination controls. The production manager attempts to move past him, but Lane shields the console with his frame, maintaining the solitary beam focused on me. He acknowledges me with a barely visible nod. The remaining lights fade. You'll never understand, beloved, my deep affection for you. Someone from Chloe's circle initiates hesitant applause from the platform. The gesture fails as others don't participate. The student slouches deeper into her chair. The crowd grows restless. Mobile devices emerge, displays bright in the dimness. Yet they're not filming to ridicule me. The expressions behind them reveal something surprising. Focus. Genuine focus. Please don't remove my ray of hope. Mother shifts forward in her chair. The stage illumination reveals moisture on her face. This melody, our special tune from my childhood, when father lived with us. When Chloe was my companion rather than my antagonist. My vocals strengthen with each phrase. The tune moves through me effortlessly, as automatic as breathing. In the auditorium's rear, Principal Walters stands still, his typically harsh demeanor transformed into something indiscernible. I reach into my pocket and retrieve the Crease talent show flyer, the one featuring the cartoon bird and my incorrectly spelled name. I display it momentarily, ensuring everyone observes exactly what it represents. Then I rip it apart. The tearing sound pierces the room's complete stillness. Recently, darling, while I slumbered, my voice wavers. But I continue through this section. The verse mother always hummed during difficult times, when utility bills arrived and our account was depleted. When father's vehicle vanished from our driveway permanently. I imagined I embraced you. Chloe's companions squirm in their seats, no longer presenting a unified appearance. One girl collects her bag and relocates several seats from my sister. Upon waking, darling, I realized my error. I gazed directly at my mother while singing the concluding verse. For the first time in years, she truly perceives me, not as the reserved daughter who creates no problems, but as someone authentic, someone significant. So I bowed my head and wept. The final tone lingers in the atmosphere, hanging in the perfect quiet that follows. Nobody stirs. Nobody speaks. The spotlight holds me momentarily before I retreat from its warmth. I exit the stage without acknowledgement, without awaiting response. Behind me, the silence persists for 5 beats. Then solitary hands begin applauding. Others follow, then more. By the time I reach the corridor, the sound has grown into something magnificent, pursuing me like a tide. As I push through the backstage entrance, I don't glance back to witness Chloe's expression or her friends deserting her. I don't need to. In the vacant hallway, I lean against the cool cement wall and slide down until I'm seated on the ground. The distant rumble of applause continues, dampened by the heavy barrier between us. Lane emerges in the doorway, outlined against the stage illumination. He offers me a quiet thumbs up before vanishing back into the commotion. For the first time in years, my voice belongs to me once more. 15 minutes later, the corridor extends before me, empty and cool compared to the crowded auditorium I just fled. My steps echo against the lockers. Behind me, through the heavy doors, applause crashes like summer rain on our metal roof. I press against the wall and descend until I'm sitting, knees drawn to my chest. My hands continue shaking. Did I actually just do that? Stand alone on stage and sing without amplification? The memory already seems like it happened to another person. The auditorium door opens. Mother stands there, her eyes red-rimmed, searching until they find me. She doesn't speak, doesn't need to. She crosses the distance in 4 quick steps and settles beside me on the floor, her nursing uniform crinkling as she sits. Her arms encircle me, warm and secure. She smells like home, detergent, and the vanilla cream she keeps by the sink. We breathe together quietly. Madison. Principal Harlow appears in the doorway, glasses sliding down his nose. The audience is requesting an encore. Before I can respond, the door bursts open again. Chloe storms through, her face blotchy with anger or shame. Perhaps both. Her friends are conspicuously missing. "It was just a prank," she says, voice strained. "You didn't need to create such drama." I observe her. Really observe her. Perhaps for the first time. My sister stands before me, shoulders tense, makeup smeared at the corners of her eyes. She appears diminished somehow. I understand exactly what it was. I say, my voice emerging steady, surprising me with its strength.
No trembling, no whisper.
Chloe opens her mouth, then closes it. Her hands flutter at her sides like caged birds. The confidence that typically emanates from her has disappeared, leaving someone I hardly recognize. Something changes between us, a balance shifting. Principal Harlow clears his throat. Madison, they're waiting. Would you consider performing again? Mother squeezes my hand, but remains silent. This is my decision. No, thank you, I say. Once was sufficient. I turn to Mother, whose eyebrows raise slightly in surprise. Chloe registered my name in the talent show without informing me. She listed me as Maddie Cluck, performing the chicken dance. Mother's sharp breath cuts through the hallway. It's been occurring for months. I continue, the words flowing now unstoppable. The chicken images on phones. Messages in my locker. Posts online. Mother's arm tightens around my shoulders. Chloe, is this accurate? Chloe stares at the ground. Her silence provides sufficient answer. I stand, smoothing my dress. I'm ready to go home now. Principal Harlow steps forward. Madison, I had no knowledge of this behavior. We don't permit bullying at Roosevelt. I understand. I say simply. I could press harder, demand consequences, watch Chloe suffer, but the thought exhausts me. What matters is that I sang my song. I discovered my voice when it mattered most. As we move toward the exit, a group of students enters the hallway. They pause when they see me. That was incredible, says a girl I recognize from mathematics class but have never addressed. Your voice is lovely. Others nod, voicing agreement. A boy approaches, phone in hand. People are already sharing the video. Hope that's acceptable. My cheeks warm. I manage a small thank you as we pass. Mr. Winters, my English instructor, stands near the doorway. Madison, he says quietly. I wish I'd known what was happening. I apologize for not noticing. The weight of his words settles on me. All these months of feeling invisible, and now everyone sees me at once. It's overwhelming, but not entirely unpleasant. Mother drives us home in silence. Chloe sits in the back seat, her reflection in the side mirror showing her gazing out the window. Morning arrives with strange new illumination. My phone chimes with a message from Chloe. You deserved it. I read it twice, save it without responding. Let it remain. There is evidence of something I no longer need to prove. At school, the hallways part differently around me. Not dramatically. I haven't become suddenly popular overnight, but the quality of attention has changed. Two of Chloe's friends approach me at lunch. We didn't realize how far it would escalate, Amber says, not quite meeting my gaze. We're sorry. I nod, accepting without promising forgiveness. That might come later, or it might not. Later, I spot Chloe observing me from across the cafeteria. For a moment, our eyes meet. I don't look away first. When I walk to my next class, my shoulders remain straight, my chin raised. My footsteps echo, with purpose against the tile floor. The notebook in my backpack contains 3 new songs I composed last night. Each one slightly bolder than the last. My voice may not be the loudest in the room, but now everyone knows it exists. A week later, I discover a folded square of notebook paper tucked into my locker vent on Tuesday morning. No name, just careful handwriting in blue ink. Thank you for speaking up for the rest of us. My fingers trace the words. A week has passed since the talent show. 7 days since I stood alone on that stage and sang through the silence after my microphone mysteriously failed. 7 days of hallways that part when I walk through them, of whispers that sound like admiration instead of mockery. I tuck the note into my pocket, feeling its weight like a charm. Mrs. Blackwood approaches me after English. The choir could use a voice like yours, Madison. Her eyes crinkle at the corners. No audition necessary. That afternoon, I enter the music room. 20 students arrange themselves in orderly rows on the risers. I recognize some faces from classes, but know none of their names. They turn when I enter, and I wait for the familiar tightness in my chest. It doesn't come. Second row, third from left, Mrs. Blackwood directs, and I find my place among the altos. During warm-ups, I sing softly at first, but when we begin our first piece, an arrangement of Bridge Over Troubled Water, I let my voice blend with the others. Not hidden, not showcased. Just present. At home that evening, Mother sits across from me at the kitchen table. She's in her scrubs, coffee mug warming her hands before her shift. Her face is open in a way I haven't seen in months. I should have noticed what was happening between you and your sister, she says. I shrug. You work 80 hours a week, Mom. That's not an excuse. She reaches across, her fingers cool against mine. I saw you at the talent show. Really saw you. Maybe for the first time since your father left. I swallow hard. I called Dad yesterday. Her eyebrows rise. I got his voicemail. I told him I was singing again. I straightened my shoulders. Told him he should come hear me sometime, but I wasn't waiting around for it anymore. Mother's eyes shine. She squeezes my hand once before releasing it. Later, I pull out the journal Lane gave me after the talent show. Unlike my old notebook, this one sits on my desk in plain sight. Its cover reads Quiet Voices in silver lettering. Inside, I've written 3 new songs this week. What are you doing? Chloe stands in our bedroom doorway. Her tone lacks its usual sharpness. Writing. I answer, not looking up. She hovers, then drops onto her bed. The silence stretches between us, not comfortable, but not hostile either. Everyone at school is talking about your performance, she finally says, picking at a thread on her comforter. I wait, pencil poised above my journal. That wasn't supposed to happen, she adds. I know. Another long pause then. Mom's making lasagna on Friday. Said we should all eat together for once. It's not an apology, not even close. But it's something, an acknowledgement that our orbits still intersect, that perhaps they should. Okay, I say, and return to my writing. On Saturday, Lane helps me set up at the community center's open mic night. Unlike the school auditorium with its harsh lighting and echoing space, this room feels intimate. Mismatched chairs, strings of white lights draped across the ceiling, a small wooden stage barely 6 inches off the ground. You sure about this? Lane asks, adjusting the microphone stand to my height. I nod. In the front row, Mother sits in her good blouse, the one she saves for parent-teacher conferences. She's switched shifts with Denise to be here. Her eyes catch mine, and she gives me a thumbs up, a gesture that reminds me so much of Dad that my heart squeezes. The room fills with people, some from school, others from around town. Lane positions his phone on a small tripod, ready to record. This is different, I tell him. This is my choice. When my name is called, I walk to the microphone without hesitation. The first notes from my guitar feel like old friends visiting. When I sing, my voice carries clearly to every corner of the room. 3 days later, I start a lunchtime music group. 5 students show up the first day, all quiet kids who normally eat alone. By the second week, we're 11. Some songs are meant to be sung softly. I tell them as we gather in the empty music room. But that doesn't mean they shouldn't be heard. That evening, I sit on our front porch steps, watching the sunset paint the mountains gold. Mother pushes the screen door open, balancing 2 mugs of tea. From inside, I can hear my voice playing from Lane's recording, clear, steady, unafraid. Mother settles beside me, our shoulders touching. Your song has gotten 300 views already. I smile, sipping my tea. Not bad for a quiet voice.